This is a Beanbag Chair Media production.
Hi guys, and welcome to Anime Noise.
I'm Garrett. I'm a performing musician by trade, graduated with a bachelor's degree in music production, and have been binging anime for almost 2 decades.
And I'm Emily. I'm a classically trained violinist and have been indulging in the animes since I was a wee little human.
And this is an anime review podcast, where we help the new viewer decide where they want to start while taking the superfan on a deep dive into the overlooked realm of music and sound effects. Everybody. I don't know why Emily's so bad at saying hello. She's like, I'm ready to start, and then just never. I don't know what to say. Well, we say the same thing every time.
Words escape me. I just want it to be different. Like, I just want to provide some form of
Konnichiwa.
Yeah, I could say that.
Yes, you could.
I could, but
yes,
I would probably say
that would make sense on our podcast
all
too.
Wrong.
That's okay.
Just like many of the words in our podcast today, I will be saying them all wrong.
And if you couldn't tell what we're doing today, or what you're listening to, welcome back to another episode of Anime Noise. I'm your host, Garrett, if you couldn't tell from the intro. That's Emily over there.
Hello.
Today, everybody, we're doing Megalo Box.
Megalo Box.
That's right.
I don't know why it makes me think of that Lonely Island skit. It's my dick in a box. Megalo Box.
Oh, we could do that one instead. We could just review my dick in a box.
Let's do it. Let's
review my dick in a box. No, we're reviewing Megalo Box.
And that's that.
We're jumping right into it. Here we go. Megalo Box aired from April to June of 2018. It is 13 episodes, at least the first season, because there is a new season coming out. In what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think it's. I think it's like.
Wait, no, it's April, right?
It's the Well, I mean, April's essentially.
Oh, I guess that is 2 weeks. I thought it was like April 8th. I don't remember.
It is. It's April 8th
or April 4th.
I don't know.
There's
man.
2 anime. One is
because Fruits Basket
How
comes
Not to
out.
Summon a Demon Lord either. That's coming out too. I think that one's actually April 8th.
Who fucking knows?
I don't know. Anyway. Right now, it's only 1 season. In a couple weeks, it'll have a second season. But easy watch. Catch up on it. Watch it before the next season comes out. Just to give you a little summary here. Megalo Box has a very simple premise. Junk Dog, a.k.a. JD, a.k.a. Joe.
This fool has 3 fucking
He's got lots of
names.
Is a slumdog boxer who wants to make a name for himself as a legitimate boxer. So he creates a fake persona in order to participate in the upcoming Megalonia tournament, which is an international boxing competition for the best of the best. Along with his team of underdogs, he takes on fierce opponents on his climb to the top in hopes of taking on Yuri, the Shirato Corporation's prize fighter. And the one thing that isn't in that summary is the fact that they fight with boxing exo-suits, robotic limbs and shit. It's super fucking cool. I was a big fan of the anime.
Yeah, I did too. I was a little nervous about it because sports and fighting anime, if that's the only thing that it's about, they sometimes I'm just meh, it's the same shit. It's the same as Baki and all this stuff. But this had different elements in it. This is the one that even inspired me to write that editorial that I still haven't even said.
This was the one.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think I even wrote it in the editorial. The thing that even made me start doing this is anime touches on some fucking hard ass subjects, and
it does.
And it takes a deeper meaning. So yeah, so this is the anime that inspired me to write that editorial.
Wow, I did not know that. I'm glad I introduced it to you then.
Yeah.
I knew it'd be an easy watch, and we were trying to like find a bunch of
Short
short
ones.
anime so we could do some shorter podcasts here. So
Yeah,
we don't want to just talk your ear off for 3 hours every fucking time.
Yeah, well, somehow I feel like our short was like 45 minutes, but I think it's been a while since we've been under an hour.
Yeah, I think, what was the shortest one we had?
It was like breaking news.
17 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't do that anymore.
We don't.
We chill with a beer and fucking talk your ears off.
Okay.
And we're going to talk to you about Megalo Box today.
Hell yeah.
Take it away, Emily. Take the credentials.
Here we go. All right, so it's licensed by Viz Media. They also license Death Note and both the Naruto's and Hunter x Hunter. Sorry, Hunter x Hunter.
There you go.
It says X, and I want to say it every time, but I know it's not X. So, correction, Hunter x Hunter. It was done in the TMS Entertainment Studio. They also did the Ashita no Joe anime back in the early 70s,
which is
what this anime is based off of. It even had the original creator ended up working on this one. Not the illustrator helped work on with this one since the original creator passed.
Oh yeah, that was such a tragic story.
In like 80 something.
Do you have that written down in the notes?
I know the exact story. I read it a few times and I'm like, shit, man.
Can you tell our audience about it?
I will when we get to the creator.
Okay.
Like it'll be more cohesive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I try to think about cohesiveness.
What else has TMS Entertainment done?
So they've done Dr. Stone and Baki, which is kind of fitting, you know.
Oh yeah.
Fruits Basket, and for Garrett, because it's his favorite new anime title.
Oh, just fun to say.
Sweetness and Lightning.
That's such a good band name too. If it was like a duo.
Oh yeah, Sweetness and Lightning.
Not like a country duo, but I'm picturing like a Brooks and Dunn type, but not country. Like
would you think I would
probably a man and a woman too.
Yeah,
but the
it would
man's
have to
name
be
is Sweetness and her name's Lightning. You know?
Yeah. It's like you're perfect jerk and I'm magnificent bitch in our phone.
Oh yeah, that is our caller ID.
Yeah.
Well, back to it. This was directed by You Moriyama, who is usually involved in the aesthetic aspects of the shows, like prop design and character design. But he's also worked on Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress, Dr. Stone, Attack on Titan, and High School of the Dead. In an interview with the producer, Minako Fujiyoshi, when asked what the biggest visual influences on the show were, he said, "This show was directed by Yo Moriyama, and he's very, very good at making things feel nostalgic without directly referencing specific shows or moments," which I have a feeling they meant Ashita no Joe.
Yeah.
And when it came to this one.
Yeah, and this was actually his first direction too, so I'm impressed.
Yeah, no, I was impressed with the anime. It's not my favorite martial arts anime. It's a great story. I would give it like a solid B.
Okay, like a 7 or an 8 out of 10?
Yeah, more than 7.
7.8.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty close to 8. It'd be a solid 8, right around 8.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. The sound director was Keiichiro Miyoshi, or Keiichiro.
See, it's not so easy, huh?
Oh man, he's got a lot of E's in there. A lot of I's that are pronounced as E's. Anyway, he's also worked on Inazuma 11 and Burn the Witch, the movie. Emily, who did the sound effects?
Hiromune Kirahashi. He also did the movies A Silent Voice and Tokyo Godfathers. He worked on Violet Evergarden, Noblesse, and Kakegurui.
Yes.
Yes. My fucking favorite.
And the sound effects in this one are really good. I mean, you gotta have some pretty cool sound effects. One, because you have to make each hit, you have to feel the hits when they're punching. You know what I mean? Especially when they're punching with enhanced body suits and exoskeletons, because not only do you have to hear the robotic arm movements of each of the exosuits, but you have to hear the impact and the extra force of the impact of the boxing glove hitting your flesh.
That's true.
Enhanced by robot strength.
Yeah, that's true.
So
enhanced by robot strength.
Yeah, it definitely had some. And he rode a motorcycle too. And
oh yeah,
they have this like where they stay is like off that boat, you know. So you have to have all these this ambiance and sound effects too. There's
and
a
they're in
big
the
environment.
desert, so like you have like all this junk and shit like that,
Or at
and
least
like the wind
junkyard
and the
stuff.
dirt.
Yeah, they had like in the middle of nowhere kind of desert area, but they also had a random river running through this.
Yeah. No, they did a good job with sound effects.
Oh, great fucking job.
All right, let's talk about the creator.
Yes.
Let's talk about the original creator. So this is Asao Takamori. His given name is Iki Kajiwara. So as we talked about, Megalo Box was inspired by the manga and anime called Ashita no Jo. The manga came out in the late 60s. I believe it was 68, and the anime came out in 71. The awesome thing about Megalo Box is that it was released on its 50th year anniversary of Ashita no Jo coming out. He's mostly done a lot of storylines that have been based around like sports and fighting. For instance, he's wrote Kyojin no Hoshi, Karate Masters, Samurai Giants, and he's written quite a few more. Now, the sad story that Garrett is referring to is on his on the, I think it's Anime News Network. On his biography, it like has a timeline for him. So it shows, the date that he got married, and then the next year, or a couple years later, he had his daughter, and then the next year after his daughter was born, he got a divorce, and then he passed away, I believe, in 87. And
was
then
it from like pancreatic cancer or something?
Yeah, it was from or some kind of like disease of the pancreas. And then, like 4 years after his death, like by a couple of months,
I thought it was 10 years.
Was it 10 years?
Yeah, because
because it was 97.
And his daughter
That's right.
was almost like a young adult at this point.
Yeah.
And then she got kidnapped.
She was abducted, and then she was murdered in Taiwan.
Fucking brutal.
Like, that's crazy. And like, that guy never will fucking know. Like, he'll never know that happened to his daughter, and that's so fucking sad.
Yep.
What a legacy to leave behind.
Yeah. So that super sad.
Yeah.
Super fucking sad.
And the fact that he got a divorce a year after his kid was.
Yeah, I mean that's babies put a stress on marriages, so I get it.
Indeed.
But yeah,
just look at mine.
That's fair point. Fair point,
yeah,
Emily.
Yeah.
Totally fair. Well, I guess that's it for the tragic stories and the credentials.
Yeah, no, it's like we said, this is gonna go by
cap
pretty.
Off the credentials with some drama this time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so let's get into the fucking music, and we're getting into it. Look at that, at like fucking 12 minutes, 13 minutes in.
We're doing good.
I'm
not
impressed.
gonna talk your ear off today.
We're not gonna talk your ear off. We're gonna review the fuck out of these songs here. So let's listen to, and let's not listen to it yet. Let's talk about it. God, I'm an idiot. The intro song, the opener for Megalo Box, is a song called Bite by Leo Imai. It was released in 2018 on his 5th full-length studio album titled VLP, and the album placed at number 87 on the Oricon. Still made it the top 100, not so bad. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's not my favorite song.
I was waiting for some input there.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I was reading.
Are you reading ahead on the notes?
No. I've written these notes.
I was gonna say.
Twice. No, I was just thinking about. I don't really know what I was thinking about. I really spaced out. My bad.
Yo,
I'm sorry.
Get your shit together.
No.
We're on air right now. You space cadet. We haven't smoked any weed today.
No, that comes later in a few hours.
The fuck? Okay. Anyway, Leo Imai was raised in London and attended Oxford for a PhD in comparative Japanese literature. He's fluent in Japanese and English. Damn, what a smart motherfucker.
And he's learning like 2 other languages right now. Like Swedish and something else.
What's the word for somebody who knows a bunch of languages? It's like a polyglot? I don't remember what it is. It's poly something.
I don't know. I can look it up if you really want to know.
Nah, it's okay.
Okay.
He began his music career in 2006 when he moved to Japan. He was also a part of the bands Kimonos in 2010 and Meta 5 in 2015. He's featured in Carol and Tuesday and Ghost in the Shell Arise, the OAV, which I think they meant to put OVA.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Original animation video.
Can anybody tell me what an ONA is? I want to know what that is. And I don't want to look it up because I'm lazy. I want you to tell me. I'm going to be needy.
They're never going to tell you.
I know.
I hope they do, though.
I hope so, too.
ONA. I don't know what that stands for. Original something.
I'm looking at you
I'm
at
assuming.
Nightmare Supreme because
Yeah.
you'll answer my questions.
Well, Leo Imai is still very active in all of his musical endeavors.
And look, Garrett, now it's time to listen to the song.
Yeah, let's take a listen to Bite by Leo Imai. Here we go. That's a mean sounding song.
That is.
Cool delay on the vocals. That synth sounds weird in here.
Yeah.
I like it, but it's not what I expected.
And the animation is also really like not what you would expect.
Oh no. Well, it makes sense though. He's a junk dog,
Yeah.
junkyard dog. Yeah, that synth is really like. Now that I'm hearing it, I can't stop hearing it. It's very. Sometimes when you're writing rock songs, you have so much distortion and grit
Yeah.
that you need something a
The
little
lighter
cleaner,
and like
glue underneath
Yeah.
it. You know.
I don't know what it is about Joe's smile, but it just gets me.
Fucking Crunchyroll likes to like let the song in, but not completely.
I know.
And on their YouTube, they just play a chunk of the song again, so you can like listen to 9 seconds of the same song while you pick the next video.
They're just making sure your ears are still active.
I guess so, yeah. Well, yeah, like I was saying, that synth, it was an interesting tone that they picked for it, but it makes sense. I don't know if it's what I would have picked, but it is it allows the dirt to stand out a little bit more, especially that bass. It's a dirty, fucking muddy sounding bass. And when it's got so much grit on it, you need something to kind of bring it together. Something warm that doesn't stand on top of everything. But I noticed that one a lot.
Yeah. Are we ready for some lyrics?
I think we're ready for some lyrics.
That was an awfully long pause.
I know. I wanted some dramatic suspense there.
Oh, okay. I thought
Yeah.
you might have spaced out and I was about to be like, bitch.
No, I don't space out.
Oh, please.
Unless I'm in space.
All right. The very first verse is I don't have an ID. Forget about the entertainment district. I'm aiming at a mud wasteland.
Huh.
I know.
Talk about mud.
Yeah. And then the bridge to be always be on the verge. I'm sure it was
always
to
be
always be on the
I think it
verge.
was just a typo.
Yeah, I don't know. That was weird.
Did you write them?
I wrote it, but I wrote B and on before and after. Like that doesn't seem like something I would do.
It looks like you kind of crossed out the first B too.
Yeah. No, I don't know what I did.
You dummy. Keep reading.
I think
always be on the verge.
Actually, I think it's to be always on the verge of a sudden conflict. Sounds like fun to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds like Joe too,
Yeah.
for sure.
So then we get to the chorus and it says, bite it, I'll bite off my determination. Bite it, spit in the sand.
Yeah.
Yeah, dirty. Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. I was like, I don't want to bite Jenny's sands. Okay, that's enough of that.
I think
Garrett,
this song totally fucking fits.
do you?
I definitely do.
Okay. I think it's dirty. It's
It fits
got a
the
vibe.
character.
Yeah,
It fits the character.
it's got a vibe.
And if we're talking about an anime as a whole, I mean, yeah, this is about this character in particular. So I would say it certainly fits this character. I hope. Oh man, I wonder what fucking season 2 is gonna have.
I don't know.
Because it's totally, the whole premise is like he fought his way, you know. Now he's not fighting underground anymore. He's fighting professionally.
Right.
Not to spoil anything for you. That was totally a spoiler.
Garrett.
Yeah, but they don't know what happens. Anyway, I think it fits. Totally fits.
Totally fits. It does. It does.
Cool.
So
Well,
let's move on.
let's move on to the outro.
Whoa. So the outro is Kakete Koi Yo by Nakamura Emi. This song was released in 2018 as well on album Nippono Anawo Utau.
You want some help?
No, I got it. Volume 5.
You got the volume 5 part down.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And actually all of her albums are kind of titled in that way. Like Nippono Onawo.
Oh no.
But like the third word is different in each of her album names. So I want to know. I want to know why. I don't know why.
Yeah, I wonder what that means.
Yeah.
All right, Japanese speakers, tell us what it means.
Tell us what it means.
Although none of you have helped us so far. So
Yeah, it's kind of rude. We ask you for help, and we're just trying to like not sound like fucking idiots.
yeah, I think that's what they want. Though.
I know.
There's like let's let these fucking assholes sound like assholes.
We all know how people are. They're like, let's see the Americans fuck this up.
Watch them butcher this language.
Yeah, I know it's entertainment. That's why I don't take too much offense to when I say it wrong.
As long as you guys aren't offended, you know?
We haven't gotten any messages yet.
Not yet.
All right. Nakamura Emi began her music career in 2007 as Emi Nakamura.
Whoa, that's
I know,
crazy.
she just switched her names right around.
That's creative.
She initially went into childcare before deciding to pursue a music career, and she focused on J-pop. However, in 2011, she became super infatuated with jazz, reggae, and hip-hop due to the well-developed wordplay, and that's when she changed her name to Nakamura Emi to establish herself in these new genres, which a lot of people will do. You know, when they move genres, it's like Snoop Dogg moving as Snoop Lion.
That'd be like me coming on as like Horlocker Garrett. We're fire in the forest.
Jesus. Yeah, that would be
Totally switch
strange.
our fucking name
It'd be
around just to
strange.
change genres.
Yeah. It could work, you know.
I think it could.
It could.
Fire in the forest?
Instead of sweetness and lightning, it's lightning and sweetness.
Yeah. It's lightness and sweetening.
All right. Last thing, she's been featured in Radiant and The Laughing Salesman New. I'm pretty sure those are both fairly new anime.
I've never heard of them.
I have never heard of them, but I'm pretty sure when I did the little bit of research on them, they're pretty new.
They're pretty new?
Yeah.
Well,
All right, guys.
are you ready to listen to the song?
Yeah.
Let's fucking get into it.
Fucking do it.
Bow, bow, bow. Here it comes. Oh, I remember the song.
I like the song.
Me too.
立ち上がれ誰もそばにいなくたって先に満ちた勝手な言葉あったことなくても投げられる時代お前の母さんでベソくらい無責任な言葉だらけ目を合わせて争う厄介な痛み相手を
And the animation is nothing like super crazy interesting. It looks like a credit reel. But it's a pretty cool... Oh, and the lights light up with the background vocals. Oh, nice. It's a nice little touch. Bunch of neon and shit. I love that acoustic guitar. So groovy.
I'm dancing.
Oh, yeah. And I love how they picked a very simple riff for that acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
Very repetitive. It's the same thing, but the chords change. Nice. And here we comes the fucking 9-second video switch here. Yeah, and that was a cool song. I love that acoustic guitar. It's super groovy. It sounds like something you would hear like live, like at a live venue.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
when I was listening to it again, it almost made me think of The Listeners.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
it makes you think of The Listeners too.
Mm-hmm.
And with the credit reel that's going on here with all the neon lights and stuff, it feels like you could totally hear this band outdoors walking down like a downtown strip,
like it's
and
a
that's
kind
the
of
band that calls you into the
lasted-
fucking that whatever bar that is selling for this courtyard area.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like a really lackadaisical song. It's very like mellow, but it's also kind of hard hitting enough to like pump you up. Like it's something you could
It's the
listen to in the
groove.
morning. It's something that
all
you're
the
like
instrumentation is
brushing your
super
teeth and you
simple.
brush into the beat.
Yeah, all the instrumentation is super simple, but like the arrangement and the groove is really drives that motherfucker home.
Yeah,
you don't need a whole lot of instrumentation
And I
when you
think
got a
that's-
groove like that.
And I think that is what it is about the song that I like, is that it has a groove. And the meaning of the song is completely unlike what you would expect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take us into the lyrics.
So the thing that I really like about this is that she fucking keeps it real. Like she's the first line is "Bring it on." Like she's straight right off the
Bring
gate.
it on, baby.
Bring it on. So I pulled up the lyrics because I really liked the way that she wrote all of it. And so it's the first verse is, people are using dreadful words with people they've never met. So many irresponsible words as "you son of a bitch." A pain overloads discussions, producing unpleasant memories that hurt others. Although we don't know war, we certainly know how to injure others through radio waves. So it's like, okay, this is some real shit.
Yeah, I could do some damage over the radio.
Yeah, and so then the next verse says, abuse of authority, harassment at work, pregnancy discrimination at work, a frightening part of people's mind, the difference of ages, the difference of thoughts. There's a precious thing between a boss and a subordinate, a teacher and a student, a family and a loved one, a treasure called trust that accumulates invisibly bit by bit.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so
that's deeper than I thought.
It's a lot deeper than you like anticipate, because the song is such a fun groove and shit like that. But I think that makes it groove even harder for me, like especially since I've read the lyrics before we started really analyzing it on air.
And trust is a pretty big thing in this anime.
And she even put trust in like quotes too. It's like, yeah, fuck, that trust.
Trust is a pretty big thing between all of the characters in this anime. I mean, even his coach, JD's coach, is a schemy fuck.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, they've all been underground. That's how you got to work. You got to work schemy.
Yeah. So the trust thing is a big thing. And especially it becomes even bigger when you meet Sachio and the whole thing with that and how Sachio's backstory and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, especially when you have like a kid put so much faith in you as an adult, trust is a very important thing.
Like a kid who doesn't even fucking know you.
Exactly. And has been through some shit.
And has been through a lot of shit.
But chooses to follow you and help you.
Yeah. So I really like the song. I love the message of the song. Me
too.
I'm so here for this song.
I absolutely love the song. I would say that it fits. I don't know if this is one of those kind of ambiguous songs where they totally could have gone a different route with this ending song.
Well, they could have gone a different route in terms of a lot of things, because then you look at the score, that's super hip hoppy. So, I think they wanted to bring back around the intro, which was kind of more rockish and like heavy, and then have this kind of groove out of.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that. I think it was just interesting that they chose this, because this one certainly fits. It is kind of it's a very unique outro, a very unique ending. And because they chose it, it makes it even more unique. Like the song is already great. And when you don't go with a typical anime ending, it could be really good or really bad. And in this case, it fits for sure. But also the song it makes you want to go listen to the song by itself and not even related to the anime.
That's true.
The song
But
is
don't
kind
you
of one
think
of a
that
kind.
that's but don't you think that's like a great song to have?
No, that's absolutely a great song to have. They made a great choice. It makes it one of a kind. Which makes the whole anime stand out.
Yeah.
In a sense. So, great job. I think it fits.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
Both of them so far, they get 2 cha-ching.
Yeah. So we both agree that the intro and outro fit. And so I'm very interested to get to our score. But before that, we got to read that long ass review.
Oh, yes. The review that I found. This one's super long, but it's great. This one's from My Anime List from a user called Darth Invader. He gave the whole anime, guess what rating?
10 out of 10.
8.
8. He
Just
gave
like
it an
I
8.
did.
Yeah.
Just like I did.
Yeah, Garrett was like, I feel like this guy could be our friend.
I mean, the whole, he pretty much nails this fucking review as a whole. It says minimum spoiler hidden gem review. If a young Hajime no Ippo made an illegitimate baby with the sexy cougar Cowboy Bebop in an 80s themed love hotel with Samurai Champloo music blasting in the background, then Megalo Box would be the gorgeous mixed bastard child that will emerge from the Red Line ambulance 9 months later.
Jesus.
Such a hidden gem, but packs so much hype. Joe! And then he gives all these ratings. The story got a 6 out of 10. I think I would agree with that. Characters, 7 out of 10. I think you could probably have given them a little bit more, but that's fair. Art, 9 out of 10. Sound, 9 out of 10. And enjoyment, 8 out of 10. And then he like sprinkles in quotes from the show with like between each paragraph. So here's the quote. They don't make tombstones for stray dogs.
That's like the most popular.
And then he follows that up with, yes, yes, yes. This is that shonen sports anime this season badly needed to remind what real anime is all about. You don't need bad CG. You don't need blended CG. You don't need UFO table level CG. What you need is a good mind-blasting underdog story, eye-gasmic hand-drawn visuals, and ear-gasmic catchy rap music to ignite that flame that you put out a long time ago to suffer through random sports anime thrown at you. Boxing anime can always be hyped. There is just something about two people beating the crap out of each other that brings out our animalistic nature to get that testosterone cascading within us and our blood viciously pumping through our veins. Megalo Box just takes it one step further. If you didn't watch it yet, then damn, you are one lucky twat because you get to binge this greatness, and I'll tell you why. I wonder if this guy's from the UK.
I
like him, though. Darth Invader. We could be friends.
See?
You almost quoted fucking Pineapple Express in your first paragraph, and I think that's kind of what you were going for. I like you, man. I like you. Here's the next quote from Joe. I don't mind dying as long as I know that the faith I had in myself was real. Such great quotes. And this is a very long review. I'm not even close to being done. This is an underdog story paying an homage to the 50 years of greatness to the boxing anime, Ashita no Joe, brought in the Japanese anime industry. It's a similar story, however, with one twist. Mechanical boxing or gear attached to every boxer that enhances the speed and power of the user. Boxing is already bloody as it is. Now imagine boxing with robotic limbs. It's a crazy concept, but luckily, this is not the focal point of the story, and we don't focus on the gear so much, but rather the boxers themselves. This anime follows the archetypal hero's journey, but since they execute it so well, it becomes a great strength rather than an overused flaw. The whole idea is that there is a Megalo Box world tourney, and our hero must fight from the slums where he threw boxing matches to earn money to face the number one boxer, Yuri, in the Megalo Box arena. Will he be able to do it? Find out next week on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. Jokes aside, from training montages to flashbacks of boxers, background to understanding their purpose in life, you really get drawn into this linear roller coaster plot that's constantly giving you knee jerks to throw you off of it. However, if you hang on tight, albeit a few slip-ups here and there, you get to taste the rewarding experience. And then yeah, I love how he made the DBZ joke.
Yeah.
See, this is why we could really be friends.
What I know. You keep saying that.
I'm going to skip this quote because that one's lame. The best part about Megalo Box are the characters. There aren't many, but the few characters that are shown are really well fleshed out. But you gave them 7 out of 10. How could that be the best part? Anyway.
Who knows?
They don't have as much complexity as other boxing anime, but given the limited number of episodes they have to work with, we get to understand their emotional baggage they carry with them. We have Joe, a junkyard dog coming from the slums that is cast aside in the society. Nanbu, his shady coach. Sachio, a tech genius kid seeking revenge against the rich. And lastly, Yuri, a Russian husky of a boxer, champion of the Megalo Box arena, itching to find the greatest opponent in his life to give a good beatdown. All of these masochistic characters have so much charisma that they easily outshine the lackluster one-dimensional side characters thrown in this anime. Moreover, with a great deep-voiced seiyuu cast, this show feels so gritty and lifelike. Every time Joe or Yuri speaks, they just steal the scene. Kudos to the seiyus for not holding this anime back. I'm not really sure what a seiyuu is.
Kudos.
If his punches were sharp, they wouldn't sound like a cow cutting through cheese, Coach Nanbu. That's a funny quote. All right, I think there's only 2 more paragraphs here. Aside from the linear roller coaster story, oh no.
What?
Oh no, I didn't double screenshot. I thought I double screenshot or something.
You weirdo. What you get with the shit, man?
Aside from the linear roller coaster story and the gritty characters, the highlight of this anime are the animation and music. Seriously, from episode 1, the hand-drawn animation puts so much life into this anime. Each panel feels picturesque. Each panel feels like it can be a wallpaper. The characters are so well drawn while maintaining the respect for Ashita no Joe, and the use of lines and variation of pen strokes just makes this anime stand out from other boxing anime that came before it. It really goes to show how maintaining a good homogeneous color palette throughout the animation really pays off. The fight sequences are well drawn and choreographed as well. Aside from the breathtaking visuals, the music is really freaking good. The OP song provides the hype, and the ending song mellows us out, but the background score and sound bits in the transitions are just addictive to listen to.
I do like those sound bits. Yeah.
Me too, for sure. We'll get into that.
At first, I thought you were telling me, like, this guy is me.
No. This anime will have one of the best standalone OST to listen to. That we will disagree with you on, but we'll get into that in a minute. Couple that with gritty rap music thrown in at appropriate times in the anime, it catapults the plot and hype even further. If you don't get to watch the anime, at least listen to the OST. Here's another quote. Everyone's only looking out for number 1, so why stop now? You're still not done. No metal on your back, so they call you gearless. Right now, the way you act sure ain't fearless. Sachio. That must be from Sachio's rap or something.
Probably.
Overall, Megalo Box is a great sports shonen anime to watch if you are into boxing. Their purpose was to celebrate the 50 years of Ashita no Joe, and they went ahead and did just that and more. They brought back boxing anime to its roots, and they showed us hand-drawn animation will never be beaten by commercialized CG animation industry. If you put forth passion and work hard to achieve a goal, then it will all be worthwhile in the end. This anime isn't perfect, and everyone always enjoys sports animes of the sport they are into. But even if you aren't into boxing, it's enjoyable to watch, as they don't delve that much into the detail about how to box. So if you can get past the crazy plot of boxers using mechanical gear and one-dimensional side characters, that's a weird way to write that, give this show a watch. After all, this anime isn't about the destination. It's about the journey. And being the spectators we are in the Megalo Box arena, let's just sit back and enjoy. Anyways, check it out and let me know later how you like it as well. And share with me your favorite quote from the anime. Ciao. P.S. Thank you for reading. I hope you found this short and Supaishi review helpful.
Oy.
This guy knows a decent amount of Japanese.
Yeah.
He,
All right.
He only used 2 Japanese words. Great review, I think.
It was pretty spot on of how we feel about the show in general.
And it's
all
kind of
around.
why we're not going to read a bad review, because that guy kind of just
He
grabbed
grabbed
all of it.
He
He
put
grabbed
all of it. Yeah.
and made it fair. The one thing I will disagree with him on, and it's kind of perfect that we're about to jump into the OST, is that the OST standalone
Not.
is pretty.
It's pretty bland.
Bland.
Bland and plain. Plain and bland.
Planned.
Bland.
The thing is, it's not planned. It's not as well thought out as it could have been.
Oh,
Standalone, it does not really, like, it wouldn't sound good on a vinyl. You know, it doesn't sound good just listening straight through.
No, it was incredibly, and you all know how we feel about dissing people's works, but as standalone without any animation or anything to go with it, it was quite boring. It was a very boring OST.
As a whole.
A whole.
Yeah, there were some great songs. There were some songs that I definitely wanted to highlight. I was like, that song kicks fucking ass. But there's also most of the songs, I would say, okay, I'll give it a majority, 60% of the songs get really, really dry. They just get really fucking dull.
And it even seems
and they do a lot of the same techniques for the entire thing.
It was really hard to listen to it because it just felt like it was like drolling on. So it's about an hour and a half long of a soundtrack. It's 59 tracks.
59 tracks. Not all of them are super long, but
no, they were all fairly short. The longest track on it is like 2 minutes and 20 something seconds.
Before we get too much further into it, we do have to give the credentials.
I know.
We haven't done that yet.
I know.
But it is just something I wanted to say. I don't agree that this is a great standalone soundtrack. But Emily, give them the composer, since I just talked their ears off with
a review.
This review.
All right. So the composer's name is Mabanua. His stage name is an anagram of his given name, which is Manabu Yamaguchi. He is a multi-instrumentalist, producer, and singer. He began playing acoustic guitar in middle school, which kind of set the stage for his love of music. He's very much a hip-hop beat maker, kind of vibey of a composer, which you do see in this OST. So he formally began his music career almost 15 years ago and has taken the music industry by storm. His name is almost on it's on a ton of different things. Not a lot of anime, quite a few commercials, a lot of
I've heard of him before,
yeah,
and it wasn't just from anime.
Yeah, and it's a lot of collaborations. So he's collaborated with a lot of his fellow Japanese artists, but he's also collaborated internationally. He's been with Chet Faker, Madlib, Thundercat.
Thundercat is a fucking beast too. Like he's a phenomenal bassist, and another thing I love about Thundercat too is he plays 6-string bass.
Oh, nice.
Fucking huge fat bass.
It's huge, yeah. Your bass is already fucking huge.
That thing feels like a baseball bat. I don't know how this motherfucker. Maybe just because I got short fingers or something. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know.
I got big palms and short fingers. That's why actually I've been told that I should be a boxer.
Well, I mean,
I did teach kickboxing.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I was like,
That's fair.
How did I meet you again? Oh, right.
Right.
Okay, so the animes that we know of that he is featured in are B&A, Brand New Animal, and Kids on the Slope. Like we said, the OST for this is 59 tracks, and it was released in 2018 under TMS Music. I found an interview with him and the director, and it's really not a whole lot of crazy stuff. Like, he basically said he read the scripts a whole lot before making the music. He said it felt like a Japanese language class. I was like, what?
Wait, what did?
The script.
The script felt like a Japanese language
class.
class.
He said, I read the script many times before making the music. It feels like a Japanese language class. Then he laughs, and I read, what's in this script? When I got stuck, I sent a lot of question emails to musicians and the director Moriyama. But the reason that the director Moriyama ended up bringing him on, because in the thing they asked, how did you ask Mabinua for the music of Megalo Box? And he said, at the stage of thinking about who to ask to play for accompaniment, the staff asked me to name my favorite artists, so I made a list. I'm a big fan of Mabinua's music, and I was listening to it, so let me give you a name. Based on that, the script team consulted and decided. Then Mabinua-san. I didn't know what kind of work it would be, but I definitely wanted to do it together, so I asked for it and got okay.
Fuck yeah.
The English translation is kind of fun.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I just wasn't a huge fan of this OST. I was not.
Yeah, I mean,
I
as
normally
a
have
whole,
like at least
as a
6
whole.
stars, and I probably only had 2 or 3.
Fortunately for this OST, I will give them this. The most familiar and recognizable songs that you're like, damn, that song fucking kicks ass as you're watching the anime, those songs do kick ass.
They do.
And they put them in the right spots where they don't, like, it doesn't step on the other fucking, like, the scenes.
Yeah.
Now, the shit in between that's underneath the dialogue isn't the greatest.
Like, guys, you know I love a good classical piece, but I mean, I
love beats too, but like it's there was just very, I don't know, it got versatile with the wrong songs.
Well, also I want to point out, so a majority of this track, can you go to the OST track
sure.
list
Hopefully
without playing anything? Oh, yep, there it is. But it's
I'll
the
cut that.
best song. So I want to point out that like maybe 50% of this anime OST is like variations of the same exact song. Almost every single theme has at least 2 to 3 versions. Every single, like, it just, as you're going, so when you're listening to it consistently like we do when we're analyzing it, we always like to listen to something like, we want you to be in your car and like taking a huge long road trip, and we want for you to be able to like be done with our podcast and want to go listen to the stuff.
Yeah.
But I really can't encourage you to go listen to this just on its own unless you
always
want to
do.
just skip around and listen.
You can always pick the favorite songs. I always recommend listening to it all the way through. Listen to why we think it's bad.
Well, yeah.
And
if you
you
want to
may
listen to like,
disagree.
let me just challenge this. Sure.
You may disagree, and the reason I think that like a typical, maybe non-musicians might like this score is because, well, I think like a composer and a musician, and I know the things that I want out of a score. But this is all like, it's almost all beat making. Not a bad thing, but when you're doing the same techniques and the same sort of, every piece kind of sounds like you've heard it before.
Yeah.
And when I'm thinking about making an OST, if this was my anime and I picked like a similar song, shit, if I just used the same exact songs that they did, I would have written them in a way that like the first 4 songs in the OST is Megalo Box, and then you have this Megalo Box theme sorrowful version, and then you have Megalo Box acoustic version and Megalo Box emotional. 4 variations of the same motif.
And some of them were super similar. Like, I'm like, well, this doesn't even sound like the playful version.
First of all, sorrow doesn't sound sorrowful.
It does not. It is like I can't even remember. Let me see.
That could be bad titling, but that's another issue. But as a musician and a songwriter, you have, from, it looks like all 4 of these tracks are almost 6.5 minutes total. Why wouldn't you write it in a way that they all blend together as one piece?
Yeah, especially if you're going to have them on the OST all together.
Yeah.
It'd be one thing if maybe, because, we don't know the track names when we're watching the anime. It's an OST for an anime.
The 2 songs in the middle are less than 2 minutes,
You could easily have moved them around, made the album itself a little more cohesive, and it'd still be used in the same way as a theme that you want to include in the anime, but make it a little more cohesive and to where you're not listening to the same song fucking 4 times in a row.
Yeah, or at least like make those 4 songs. It's technically 4 different songs, or it's variations of the same motif, like I said. But make it sound like it's one song.
Yeah.
The transitions between
like
them.
at least you're gonna like have a better listening experience.
Yes. And that they kind of do that for the whole thing. The whole OST feels like a list of songs. It feels like they were like, here's a list of the songs that we used on this anime, rather than like My Hero Academia. Last week was a very well thought out and put together OST from start to finish.
Yeah.
You know the story, and you can picture the story in your head as you're listening to it. And although some transitions are weird, some of the scenes happen with the same transition. So the transitions match the scene that it was a part of. This just feels like, okay, this is what we used for different parts. Have fun. Do with it what you will. And there, like I said, there are some great fucking songs on here. I highlighted a couple that I definitely want to take a listen to. But I wanted to knock out some of the bad, like the cons out of the way. You know? Because they do. I mean, here's a pro. The whole score does typically stay true to itself, but to me, it doesn't quite capture the anime or the characters. And what I mean by that is like each style, each motif for different characters, it fits the rest of the OST. So like Megalo Box theme, Yuri's theme, fucking. All the themes, the theme of Fujimaki, Glenn Burroughs themes, all those themes fit together with the rest of the OST. They all fit together. I don't think they fit the characters.
Yeah.
I don't think they fit the scenes. I think they fit the rest of the OST, the style and the genre that they were shooting for.
Well,
yes.
even, you know, in that same interview, you know, they had asked him to like, you know, give a synopsis of like the theme for Gearless Joe, and apparently, like, supposedly Megalo Box is the theme for Joe because he's the main character, sure, but then they also have a theme for Gearless Joe.
Yeah, no, Megalo Box is the theme for the anime. It's the theme for the Megalo Box. It's fighting.
No, that's Joe's theme. That's what that he said in the interview.
That was Joe's theme?
That's Joe's theme.
Well, then they must have had like maybe a walkout song for Gearless Joe.
You know, I don't remember.
Because the theme for Gearless Joe doesn't fit Gearless Joe.
No, and that's what I mean. Like, it's like it doesn't make any sense. The song Megalo Box, not even any of the other versions, just the original version, fit the best out of any of the songs. Like, I kind of liked Yuri's theme. Like, it was a badass song, but it didn't fit him.
Yuri's theme, the only thing about Yuri's theme that fits him is the fact that it does sound like a very stoic song.
Yeah.
You never know what the fuck Yuri's thinking, other than the fact that he's like, I just want to fight some badass
I just want to fight some badass fighters, and I want to do it the right way. Like, he eventually, like, comes into himself, and he's like, I want to fucking, like, I want to do this the right way.
I'm going to fight a real fighter.
Yeah, and he's going to fight like a real fighter.
And
like,
so
that's something...
he's very stoic. You don't know his thoughts about life or love or anything in between. You just know what he thinks about when he's standing inside a boxing ring.
Right.
So that it fits that mentality, I think. I don't think it captures it as best as it could.
No, it doesn't.
But it definitely is a version. I mean, it works. That I would give him. That one works for him. Gearless Joe, not the greatest theme for me. Most of them, in my opinion, aren't that great. I do like Coach Nanbu's theme. That seems very like they kind of incorporated the jazz and the whole schemey shit.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So I think they did that well. One thing in particular, the fanfare. You have the theme of Yukiko Shirato, which is like the head boss lady, and I put underwhelming. Probably the coolest strings for each piece so far. Doesn't really fit her though. The slow one fits her better. The slow version. I like the ticking kind of clock sound or the stopwatch underneath. Slow too. The pads are interesting. That also fits her pretty well. all the strings, all the orchestral stuff in this OST sounds digital. It sounds fake.
Yeah, no, and it's like, I even highlighted, like, everybody knows I love a good violin piece, and they had a couple of violin, but it was sad because I knew that it wasn't an actual violin. I knew that it was a synthesizer or
it
some
all sounds
kind of
fake.
Yeah.
At the very end of Yukiko Shirato, they have this fanfare when I'm assuming it's when she's announcing the tournament.
Right.
And they have the theme of Yukiko Shirato fanfare version. And I was like, it's definitely a fanfare, but the MIDI instrumentation sounds so low budget.
It does.
It sounds like some stock plugins that I have on fucking Logic Pro.
Yeah, I really felt like it was a lot. Not only was it overall disappointing for me, because I feel like with such a high action and emotional anime as this was, I feel like there could have been some differentiation in the way that it sounded.
Yeah.
And the things that they could have done. A lot of the things sounded a little. Everybody loves a good cliche. Super sorrowful, sad, piano, violin, nailed it. And that's what he did. But it just sounded completely cliche.
Yes.
And sometimes cliche isn't a bad thing.
No, I agree with
Clearly,
you.
that's something that.
But it sounded cheese.
But it's like there's so many times in my thing I'm like, piano and violin cliche, kind of dull, still dull. Kind of surprised me. Like, it's sad when a song that sounds like pretty normal. It's like, oh, well, this surprised me.
The thing, I think that they definitely could have capitalized better on actual orchestration. If you're going to have string players and shit like that, like, can you pick 2 or 3 players? Even one real violin.
Yeah,
one.
even then. And, there was some parts where
then you can hide the MIDI, you can hide the digital sound.
Right. And,
there
was in conflict, I felt like it was so close to kind of sounding like an actual instrument. Because of that, it kind of had like a slight tremolo where it would be like a tremolo melody and it'd stop and you'd legato, and then it would have a tremolo and then it'd go legato again. And I'm like, dude, that'd be really hard to do in MIDI. But I know that it's possible because that's how digital things are
it is
these
possible.
days.
Shit. And if you have a really long legato and the tremolo, like you were just talking about, all you have to do is put 2 tracks.
That's true.
Just make a different track for legato and make one just tremolo.
Yeah.
Now, can you do it live? Probably not.
Probably not. No.
Which is the only benefit of digital. But the problem with digital, it doesn't sound natural. So the way you make it sound a bit more natural
is having an actual
just
instrument.
hire one, hire 2 to make the harmonies sound better, and then you can glue it together digitally.
Well, you know what kind of sucks is, and it's kind of disappointing from a composer's point of view, but he's a multi-instrumentalist. Like he plays instruments. He knows how to do this. Half of these guitars could have been him playing on it. Like he could have actually done all of this stuff, and it just kind of. I fucking hate this. It fucking sounded lazy.
It didn't. Yeah, I mean, it sounded like they were going for that low budget fucking. They did capture this. It sounded like the Slumdog fucking gritty, dirty hip hop, like that.
Yeah.
The gritty, dirty underground industrial kind of sound,
Yeah.
and they definitely captured that. But it also got a little too simple.
It did.
There are some things that I get. I get that you want to be low budget and you want to make it sound. You make it want to sound shitty on purpose.
Yeah.
But that being said, you don't have to. You can color it with shitty sounds. You don't have to make the phrasing shitty.
Right. And like I was telling Garrett yesterday when we were listening to it, I enjoyed the second half of the OST more than I enjoyed the first because I really didn't like the themes of characters. I didn't like them, and most of those themes are at the first half of the thing. So now you have these like more emotional songs like heartwarming and conflict and things like that. And I'm pretty sure that those are the ones that I like highlighted to play were the ones that were more.
Well, they even had Lost in Grief. Lost in Grief. I was like, this is a decent piece, but it sounds.
That was the piano violin cliche.
Yes, it sounds super cliche. It
Yeah.
sounds like it's been done before a million fucking times.
It's been done before.
And it doesn't, yes, it captures the emotion, but it doesn't capture the emotion from this person.
Yeah.
Not everybody's emotions are the same.
Right.
They're just, it's labeling a similar emotion.
Now, I did like Lost in Grief, the deep version.
Yeah.
I liked the deep version. I said that the dissonant chords are really what make that piece.
That was cool.
The background instrumentation added an element that surprisingly surprised me. I used surprised twice. That's how much it surprises me.
And the thing that they didn't do with Lost in Grief and the Lost in Grief deep version is make it sound like one fucking piece. It sounds like two versions of the same song.
Yeah,
which is maybe what they were going for, but like, can you blend them? Can you blend them in a way that's a little more, just makes more sense? I guess.
Well, and it's hard because there's so many that I'm like, really, I don't even know the difference. Maybe they changed one instrument. What was it? It was that song that they added a piano. It was that instrumental version of the insert song. I think it was Slum City.
Oh yeah, that was cool too.
That was
I like
cool.
the instrumental one a little bit better. Honestly.
I like the instrumental one, but it's like instead of the lyrics that were added by Komachi, they added not even a piano that followed the melody of her verses, but they added a piano that just kind of accentuated the rest of the piece.
Else.
So it was nice to see that. Like that, yes, that's a whole different thing. Now it's unexpected because usually on an instrumental version, it does follow the lyrics. Mm-hmm. So that was something completely different than what I've seen. And that was kind of nice to have that instrumental version be almost a completely different piece.
Yeah, a little different.
Yeah.
One thing I absolutely did not appreciate was the repetition for an hour and a half of music of the same techniques.
Yeah.
Way too much arpeggiation. That's like, an arpeggiation, guys, is kind of like if I picked a setting. Shit, think about Stranger Things. The Stranger Things theme song is arpeggiation, and the way that they did that was they picked a setting on their synthesizer, and they held down the notes that were supposed to be hit by the synthesizer, so it's programmed. So they literally, instead of playing, they would just hold down all those notes. It would, if it sounded natural, like they actually did it, and the computer didn't do it, it would just sound like, bah.
Right. But they end up like picking out those notes and placing them in the computer, right?
No. They just use a synthesizer. So when they play all of those notes, the synthesizer goes by itself. Just by holding down those notes. Does it have
an
arpeggiator?
That's what I meant.
Arpeggiator, yes.
For some reason, that word is not coming out.
So yeah, in my opinion, I think they used way too much arpeggiation with different timbres. It doesn't even matter what it is. They did it for fucking 75-80% of this entire OST has something arpeggiated on it. Which, I mean, that is typically used in like hip hop and things like that, but it doesn't have to be used the entire time.
Yeah, even hip hop beats are well variated.
Oh yeah.
And that's not to say that there's like some songs that sound the same. Like you're like, fuck, this just sounds like every other fucking hip hop song out there right now. But there's a lot of different things, and this OST did not put that out. It didn't put out anything that was extremely different.
They may not have had a huge budget.
That's true. Now, I did like the theme of Sachio. I thought that was a well-written hip-hop beat. I liked that one. And I love Megalo Box. Like that one's a pretty noticeable theme too.
Oh yeah. And I think that like the songs, the thing that makes OSTs really good is their use of dynamics.
Right.
And in particular, the loud and soft.
Uh-huh.
And varying that throughout their entire OST, depending on scenes and emotions and things like that. Your emotions aren't just fucking one volume. You got to get loud and soft.
Right. So, you're screaming, you're crying, you're in your head. There's a lot of different elements that go into different emotions.
Yeah.
And the biggest dynamic I saw was like sometimes different variables of the piece. There'd be like a kind of a drawling sound in the background.
Yeah, they didn't use volume,
but there was nothing about volume. Or then it would just like, in the only use of volume I saw was when they would just like fade out.
Yes.
That was it. It was just the fades.
The thing that I noticed that was used in place of dynamics, and I think it's really important to use the loud and soft dynamics in an OST. And actually, if you're a hip hop producer listening to this right now, hip hop, EDM, anything electronic that you can't really control the volume, because when you're getting into the digital realm, sometimes volume has to be automated, or that's something you have to control with your DJ board.
Right.
And you need to do that with multiple instruments at different times. Some things can stay loud, some things have to get soft. It should not just be a fucking one volume all the way across the board. So if you're a hip hop producer or a EDM producer listening to this, take dynamics into consideration, because it makes music more interesting. I get, like, if you just want something straight across the board to dance to in the fucking club, if you want your subs fucking pumping, sure. But as far as an OST,
but even a good EDM beat, especially when you're like, you're hitting those beats really hard, and when you're building, you're building and you're getting louder and you're getting louder.
Except they don't get louder, in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah, they're not getting louder.
What kind of EDM songs are you listening to?
This is what they're. Doing.
I'm not talking about this.
I know. Most EDM that I'm listening to, either it's not getting louder, it's the pitch is getting higher.
Oh no, I've heard some good EDM artists who actually incorporate the dynamics where they're crescendoing into the drop.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
And it's not a higher pitch. It is exactly what it is.
It's a high frequency. To me, it's not a volume swell. It isn't a volume getting louder. The only reason you think the volume's getting louder is because they're giving you more signal frequency. So they're doing whether it's a high pass filter or a low pass filter, they're making it sound like that whole telephone thing where it just sounds like it's fucking in a telephone, and then they open it up and it sounds super clean again. That I'm gonna add that in post-production so you guys can know what I'm talking about. But it's a high frequency pass. It's not actually getting louder. You're just hearing more of the same thing.
I'm gonna introduce you to Nero.
Go for it.
I will.
This is
I'm
9 times out of 10.
I'm thinking of the song, and
I know Nero too.
Yeah, but you don't know the song I'm thinking of.
I don't know the song.
And you don't pay attention when I put on EDM.
So. But that's my biggest issue with EDM is their lack of volume dynamics. And this is kind of what this OST did in place of it too. They basically add a pitch swell, like that sort of thing, to add energy instead of volume. But they do that every fucking track. It's like 90% of the fucking songs do that same fucking thing, or the drop is very similar to the previous songs that I've heard. So that's the only thing that got really, an hour and a half of that I get really tired of.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I didn't like. And I wrote this again on this page, too much arpeggiation. And then on the back, too much fucking arpeggiation. It's just everything was fucking arpeggiated. And the only, like I said, only dynamic techniques that they replaced with the volume techniques is the pitch swells and the high frequency passes, those frequency band filters. So that those are some points that are like it fits the genre. However, there's more to the show than just that. There's more to the emotions to the story than just that. There's more to each character than just that. So if it does feel lazy when you're doing the same things over again. I get staying true to your genre, staying true to the rest of the OST.
Yeah.
But give us something.
Yeah, I really feel like that this OST could have been a lot more charismatic.
Yeah.
Had a little bit of varietal throughout each piece. Even if you had added something a little bit different to make your piano violin cliche sound less like a cliche, and really throw in it's fucking conflict. Like, you can add in whatever you want. Everybody has a fucking variety of conflict.
Yeah.
And the problem is that it fits in the anime. It doesn't fit standalone.
Yeah, and even in the anime, it doesn't fit as good as it could have.
Right, as good as it could, but it fits enough for me to be
is.
like, I can feel the emotions because I'm hearing what the characters are saying. I'm reading the room, and then I have the music playing in the background.
If I was a teacher, I would have given it like a C+. Like they get a passing grade. You know what I mean? They get a passing
Yeah.
grade. It didn't blow my
there's
mind.
there's a ton of anime. Look at Your Lie in April. Like they use that music and they play on your emotions to where the only thing you have to hear is the music and seeing the characters. They don't have to talk. You have no idea what's really going through their head, but you can feel exactly what's going through their head. And that is a great score, is when you don't need the dialogue to understand what's going on with the character. And I just really didn't feel like I got that here with this one. But on a high note, since we have just straight up talked some shit about this for probably 20 minutes.
We did
now.
kind of talk a lot of shit. I mean, it was constructive shit in my opinion.
It is constructive. At least we're not like, hey, this is shitty. Goodbye.
I think maybe the thing that we can come out of this with a little more constructive criticism here.
Sure.
For all the cons that I felt were actual cons in this anime, I think that they could have done better by staying true to a genre and maybe having a bigger group of people, not just one composer. Have a particular composer. Like clearly he loves the theme, so Megalo Box was his theme. He takes the lead on that. But getting a group of hip hop DJs and artists and composers and maybe somebody who's like really strong in the classical composition.
Yeah.
And they can do some of the
And then having
songs
them
for like
do the little
they
slower.
take the lead, but
and
they work with the rest of the group, and
Right.
so each person kind of takes a lead on different themes and different characters' themes.
But even on
while
like
they all worked as a team.
on the ones that they did the songs for, it was a hip hop artist who did the insert song. So you've got a hip hop composer, and then you have hip hop vocalists who are coming in.
Yes.
And those are the only things that are getting like real spotlights, because you could have gotten somebody from wherever he's from. Is it an Omni Group? Is that what he's a part of?
Omnibus?
Is that what it is?
I have no idea.
No, I don't know. It's whatever group he's a part of, and his agency essentially. And they could have. There's probably a ton of people there that could have done the variations of the classical pieces and the more jazzy pieces. Adding different phrasing in there that would have made it stand out.
Now the sampling was done really well. I'll give them that.
The sampling was done really well. The way that they transitioned between scenes and things
what
like
I mean by
that.
sampling is like the samples that he took, that he didn't create.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the samples that he created sounded like the rest of the stuff that he wrote, which was, like especially the one of the samples that they looped was MIDI violins.
Yeah.
MIDI. It was like an orchestral stab phrase. Sounded really cheap to me. It sounded like cheap plugins and stuff. So
Yeah.
I think that the sampling that he did with when he took it from something else, he did a great job finding those things and sampling that. His own samples were okay, but they did a good job with that. And like I said, I think that you really need a team with this one if you're gonna stick to a genre, because eventually you're gonna like. I know I do it too.
Almost like get burnt out.
You burn yourself out.
Yeah.
On accident,
That's what I
almost,
mean.
because you're trying so hard to make the same genre, but also a different emotion of that
Right.
genre. And so sometimes genres just don't capture every emotion.
Yeah.
The only genre that captures every emotion, in my opinion, is classical.
Yeah.
But not everybody wants to hear fucking classical music all the time. I know I don't. I love classical music, but I want to hear it all the time for the entire thing.
That's true. Well, Garrett, which ones did you want to showcase?
Let's see.
What do you want to talk about?
Resolution was one I had starred. I had the ending I had starred just because like that's the one that they chose to be versatile with, and I'm like, why the fuck is this the level of versatility that you went with?
No shit. Like it's like the last song, and they're like, "Oh, now we can get fucking crazy."
I was like, man, if you had all OST to be versatile, and this is the song you fucking choose, and this is the genre you went with, goddamn. Conflict was good. Darkness was good. I think, let me do the first one I starred. Where was that? That was Battlefield. That was very early on the OST. That's the one I'm going to play. Do you know which one you're going to play?
Kind of. I'm not sure yet.
Okay, well, let's listen to Battlefield.
Yeah.
This was a song I really fucking liked early on. Here's Battlefield. And that drummer is killer as fuck. And you got that sub bass. And the dirty fuzzy guitar. And the harmonies. And they just walk up the fucking chord progression. Killer. And the sampled yells. And if you guys can't tell, I'm like yelling into the microphone because our headphones are so loud right now. That very Oasis sounding kind of guitar.
Yeah.
Cool samples, and he panned it left to right. That was sweet.
This is that one that, like, I'm like, it's gonna drop, and it doesn't. It doesn't drop, guys. I'm just letting you know.
I think it drops into like the end of the
resolves.
episode.
It just resolves. It doesn't drop. See, it just resolves. There's no drop. It builds it up so much that it feels like, oh man, we're gonna get a kick-ass fucking solo out of this. No, it fucking resolves. The fuck is that
No,
noise?
I think that was just like building up, and then like the scene ends, and you're like, shit, credits, fuck, the episode's over, and then you get that cool outro song.
Yeah. I hope that's what that was. No, you know what? Something that I wanted to showcase was between conflict and weirdly enough, the theme of Yukiko and Slow 2.
Yukiko and Slow 2?
Yeah. Like I said, there's a
Which one
ton of
first?
variations. I'm not sure which one I want to do. I don't think I need both. Oh, jeez.
Bless you.
I don't think I need to do both.
Okay.
Which one do you think? Conflict or Yukiko Slow 2? You know what? Let's go with conflict. I feel like that accurately. I mic dropped there.
You slammed your fucking notebook.
without dropping my mic.
You want to do Kiko Slow 2? Yukiko?
No, let's do conflict.
Oh, conflict, okay.
Yeah, let's do conflict. Conflict original, not slow.
Yeah. Conflict was great. I love that heartbeat kick drum in there. That was super good. It makes you feel anxious.
Yeah, and this is that tremoloed violin with a little bit of distortion on it. And conflict and conflict slow, I wrote, sounds like something I'd listen to in a spa to get a creepy massage.
A creepy massage.
I don't know, but that's what it made me
Creepy
feel
massage can be a little bit different than what I know that you're picturing in your head.
I don't mean the creep massage. I mean
The
like
creep massage.
like somebody's like like somebody in like The Bride of Frankenstein or something, like a creepy vibe.
Oh, like in Halloween makeup.
Yeah.
I get you.
Like
I get you.
creepy. Not like
the
creep.
Addams Family.
Yeah,
spa.
not like
I
you
get
fucking
it.
creep. Like you and me, we're creeps.
They're not violating you. They're just
Yeah.
All right, here's conflict. The heartbeat right there.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, it's a nice touch. You've got like the distortion, and it's exactly how I would feel like conflict. It's like, fuck, like what do I do? What do I?
And this is one of the few things that they actually use dynamics appropriately.
Yeah. Like they go in and out, and
those swells
swell.
don't really stick on a note.
Yeah.
They don't really stick with like tempo at all. They're falling in at a time which makes it feel anxious.
Like you hear that tremolo part, and then it goes into like a legato type thing until you get to like this huge range of like sound.
And that's not a kick drum, it's an actual heartbeat. That's cool.
And you're like, fuck! Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So that song was something that really, like, I was like, now this is more fucking like it. Like, add some shit that I haven't heard before. Give me something that reflects the emotion almost to a fucking T.
And that song felt really big and cinematic.
It
That's a
did.
good piece.
Super
but it's
cinematic.
only fucking it's
only a minute long.
a minute.
A
you
minute.
know? So that's the only thing that frustrated me so much about this piece or this OST is because I know how good they got at some parts.
Mm-hmm.
That it's just you went so fucking hard on for a minute long piece, but then you have a fucking 2.5 minute, 3 minute long piece, and it's just boring. It gets boring.
Yeah.
It fits okay. It's like you went lazy on it for a minute, and maybe it's because the dialogue was right there, and I don't know. It just
and I'm really glad that you feel the same way, because I really thought that I was not feeling well yesterday while we were listening to this, and I was like, I don't know if it's because I just don't feel well or if
And
it's
you're
like
just
this
shitting on
is
it?
super like it's super boring. But I'm happy to know that you felt the same way, because I did. Like, it was just like, man, we fucking have to listen to this whole thing for another goddamn hour. Like, this is ridiculous.
it did get a little like it got a little stale.
Like, I didn't even take notes on like some of the last few songs, because I was like, there's nothing different about this. There's nothing different about these themes that I haven't already heard in the OST that I'm already not going to say.
Yeah, I always make sure to like take notes on every single one because you never know what the fuck you're gonna hear.
I was ready to take the notes. I just felt no need to.
It got really stale, and it was a shame because the hype songs, the fucking hard hitters, the bitches that slap, those are fucking great songs.
Yeah.
Those are fucking killer songs.
Yeah.
And it's why people are always like, this has one of the best OSTs. It's so good.
You know, and that's something that
It's
I feel
because
like
of those songs.
And I feel like people are really gonna like hate on us for dogging it as much as we have. But we're looking at it from a musical point of view. We're not looking at it straight from the anime. Like, you know, we've already said, like, you know, it fits well enough to capture the emotions it needs to capture. But in a standalone OST,
I think we gave our
really,
evidence too, you know, for why we didn't like it.
We did, but evidence doesn't mean anything.
That's true, but I mean,
Especially to some of these hardcore anime people who are like all about their shit.
we have a solid argument on our hands, in my opinion. I think we have enough evidence to back our reasoning for why we said that, and it's not like we ripped on the whole thing. And part of the reason why we had so many negatives was because we were disappointed because we heard the great songs, we heard that shit.
We know the capability.
So when you can come out swinging.
Right off the gate too. They put that song first, which is fucking great.
Megalo Box is a great fucking song.
But I'm gonna go back to My Hero Academia on this one. Like, the way that he did that, he put the most influential, iconic song at the very end. Like, we got through all the shit and we made it through the whole story, and then at the very end, there's the title song, My Hero Academia, right at the end, and that's the one that like you start to tear up on. You're like, the heroes are here.
But I mean,
You know,
it was
why
just
not
smarter.
put
It was
that at
put
the
together.
end?
It was put together smarter.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they had a much bigger budget. I don't know for sure actually. But it just seems like a much bigger anime and it had a bigger turnout. So I think that it was a more thought out production for My Hero Academia.
I
than
think so
this
as well.
one.
And I think like a lot of
If
our
this one
previous
had,
OSTs,
you know how Death Parade had a digest version for
Yeah.
the fucking OST? This needs
probably
a fucking
needed
digest
a
version.
digest version. You're
This
right.
one definitely needs a digest version.
And you know, and I felt like Death Parade, they had more variety on their soundtrack that didn't call for a digest version. This, however, does. I really feel like they they could have knocked out a whole lot of the sorrow, acoustic, emotional, slow, playful, slow too. The fuck is that noise? You know,
I mean, I don't care about bad names. It's just it's if the
It's redundant.
if the song captures the emotion. But as far as for each scene and stuff, not all of them capture them very well. I would give this OST as a whole. I mean, the anime was great, so the OST, the songs, I could pick out 5 songs that I'm like, fuck yeah, those are A+ songs. Those are 100% A fucking plus songs. But then the rest of it, I'm like, C-, D,
yeah,
meh,
yeah.
a couple of B's thrown in there. You passed, but you didn't get flying colors.
You didn't get
that's
flying
for sure.
colors.
You skated through, you know?
Yeah.
So with a few highlights that I'm like, damn, like I said, it shows your potential, but it just doesn't.
It doesn't
Drive it
nail it.
home.
It doesn't nail it.
Hopefully, I do hope that he is the same composer working on season 2.
He is. He is
He
working
is.
on season 2.
Good. Well,
They wanted to bring back the exact
same crew.
Yeah, they wanted to
Good.
bring back the exact
Good.
same
I'm
crew.
excited to hear it because I think it kind of went a little under the radar when it really first came out. I saw it when it first came out, and it did go a little bit under the radar, but it also, I think that it could has potential to be so much more.
Yeah.
So
I feel like that's kind of how the listeners was too.
like this, yeah.
Had the potential to be so much more, flew under the radar.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't think
you
the
mean that was
listeners
a
is coming
different
back.
No, that was a totally different pretense though. I feel like coronavirus really fucked that one up for them.
Yeah, and this one may have helped them because they had more time to write and think about it.
Yeah.
But in any case,
They had fucking 50 years.
I am super super excited to watch the next season. I'm really pumped to see what this crew will do. Yeah, let's bring them home, Emily. Let's take them on out.
Yeah, I got one fun fact for you guys. One fun fact.
One fun fact. Let's hear it.
Yeah, so all of the boxing that you see are actual techniques that the crew ended up getting from the Puma Toguchi boxing gym. They had them come on the set and help the animators research like certain moves and the dialogue and things like that. So it was anime realistic.
Fuck yeah, I love it when they do that shit.
I know. It makes it a lot more easier to engage. You feel like you're watching a real life boxing match, and I love betting on boxing matches.
You love betting on boxing matches?
On women's boxing, particularly.
Have you made bets on women's boxing? I've never seen
Yeah.
this. When?
Well, I haven't recently. Probably like since I've had kids, I haven't.
You
made
gamble on women's boxing?
Yeah.
I've never known this about her, guys. That's really fucking strange. Never heard about this in my
Why
life.
is that strange?
Because I ask you to fight nights all the time. I'm like, let's go watch a fight on Saturday.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
You've asked me that once, and it was because we couldn't go.
And you're like, I don't want to watch it.
No, I like women's boxing. Men is just like, it's almost cliche. It's too cliche.
Cliche.
Yeah. You heard me.
What?
I like watching boxing, but I like watching women's boxing better.
You don't like watching heavyweights beat the living fucking balls out of each other?
Look here. I have preferences just like you do. And I will go with you to fucking fight nights. I don't care, but actually follow through with it, bro.
That's on record. That's
Yeah, it
fucking
is.
on record. We are doing it now.
Okay.
We're doing it right, doing it tight.
All right. Guys, I think we've talked your ear off enough about
Yeah, we said it was going to be a short episode. We're a fucking hour and a half in.
shit. Sorry, guys. We falsely
We knew that it wasn't going to happen. We knew what the fuck we were doing.
But you know, it's always a pleasure to have you with us. So we want to thank you again for being here with us for the ride, and whether you're taking us for a ride or you're chilling in your own BBC, we are absolutely thrilled. Rah.
So fucking thrilled.
So fucking
Jesus
thrilled.
Christ.
To be sharing our love of anime, music, and sound effects with you.
That is right.
Yeah.
And if you could do one thing for us, please go to our Instagram and our TikTok. Might as well. I promise you one day it'll be so good.
Man.
It's gonna be so fucking good. No, just go to our Instagram or TikTok, our social medias. It's all the same thing at Anime Noise Podcast, all one word. We do like some behind the scenes videos. We give like tips and tricks. We're playing a fun game right now, which is almost over.
It's almost over. We have to do Y today.
The letter Y today.
letter
and
Y.
Probably Z tomorrow or the following day. So so come on, hang out, hit us up. We respond to literally every single message. So don't hesitate to reach out to us.
Also, quick note. If you are an artist and you like doing like little flash tattoo type of things, hit us up because
we're going to start making merchandise and we need to commission some motherfuckers.
Yeah, we will pay you. And if you're an artist and you like drawing anime type things, please let us know and we will we'll pay you and we'll feature you and we'll love you forever.
And ever.
And ever. So that's something that I wanted to put out into the universe.
Yes.
Because we want to find as many people to help through all of this shit while also helping ourselves.
Yeah.
So.
And if you're not an artist and you're ready to buy some fucking merch, that's coming out. Well, keep an eye out for that shit.
Yeah.
All right. Where can we stream this motherfucker, Emily?
So you can find it in the United States, Crunchyroll, Funimation, and Hulu.
Great.
In Australia and New Zealand, you can find it on Anime Lab. And in the UK, you can find it on a platform called All4. The number 4. Not spelled out, the number 4.
We watched it on Crunchyroll.
But I've seen it on Funimation and I've seen it on Hulu.
Yes.
So go check it out. If you haven't watched it yet, it is a good and short watch. Prepare yourself for season 2, Nomad.
Yes, Nomad. I'm super excited to see that. Don't forget to click the link in the show notes for the YouTube playlist for all the songs and post-production shit that we're adding in here.
Hell yeah.
So we'll have videos for that on our YouTube playlist. And I think that wraps it up for today. So tune in next week for another episode of Anime Noise. Happy St. Patty's Day, motherfucker.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, bitches.
Bye.
Bye.
This has been a Beanbag Chair Media production.